Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we had started the discussion over the evolution and diversity of life. In the previous lecture, we had discussed about many things regarding this aspect, and in this lecture, we are going to discuss about a very interesting theory regarding the evolution. Okay, so let's start. So, today we are going to learn about the theory of natural selection. The theory of natural selection, which was also known as Darwinism. Okay. Now the question is why it is called the theory of natural selection and why it is called the Darwinism. Okay. And who was Charles Darwin? Got it? So let's conclude all these things. Basically, in the previous lecture, when we started the topic of evolution and diversity of life, I had told you that there are various theories which formulated on the basis of concept that we have been evolved from our ancestor to the present one, right? So regarding these theories, there were several theories. Like first was started by Carlos, okay, then the Jean Lamarck. These are the main theories, okay, and then are Charles Darwin. Got it? Basically, Carlos said everyone evolved from previous one. Okay. Lamarck said organ use and no use decide variations. Whereas Charles Darwin said it is of natural selection. Got it? So today I will share you one motivational quote also, which is basically formulated by Charles Darwin, but will be very useful for you in your entire life. Okay. So basically let's discuss these things. Carlos, basically he said whatever species you are seeing around yourself is not there, but it has been evolved from the previous one. Okay, let's suppose, just take an example. If you are seeing a hen, also we known as a chicken. Okay, if you are seeing a hen and chicken, then they are evolved from dinosaurs, or most probably you can say Jurassic. Okay, Jurassic creatures. Now, can you believe that the chicken which we generally consume in the items of non-veg has been evolved from the families of dinosaur or the Jurassic creatures? Then the answer is yes. The lions, the tigers, the elephants, even the humans, whosoever you are looking today have been evolved from their ancestors. They were not like exact what they are today. Got it? So it was the basis for Carlos theory. Got it? After Carlos, there was another person whose name was Jean Lamarck. Basically, Lamarck said the entire body dynamics of present creatures, okay, like humans, like tigers, like any other animals and creatures living on this earth, is depend upon the usage of organs which they required to use and which they not required to use. Got it? So due to the usage and due to the non-usage, we have been evolved. It was his theory. Got it? Like, just take an example. Remember when I was telling you about the Australopithecus africanus? Okay, Australopithecus africanus. Then we have been evolved to Homo sapiens Cro-Magnon. Got it? So what I told you between this, I told you during the Australopithecus africanus, we used to be a huge gorilla type peoples. Okay, but today, as we can see ourselves, we are normal human being and we can be easily differentiated from the gorilla and the apes to the humans. Got it? But according to Jean Lamarck, why the change was happened? Because it depend upon the usage and non-usage of the organs. Okay, during the Australopithecus africanus time, we were the hunters. Okay, so we required a heavy body to save ourselves and to get our hunt for our food. Got it? But as we evolved and we became civilized people, okay, we started agriculture, we started various things. So we are not no longer in the uses of, you can say, being a hunter and gatherer. Okay, we became a civilized people, and when we became a civilized people, we do not require this much of physical power. So that's why our body size, our strength has been reduced. So it was said by Mr. Jean Lamarck. Okay, as per his theory, organs used and non-used decide the variations among the species. Okay, but today we are going to discuss about the most important and very interesting theory which was given by Sir Charles Darwin, okay, which is known as the theory of natural selection and also known as theory of Darwinism. Theory of Darwinism. Got it? So basically, Charles Darwin, English naturalist, he introduced the theory of natural selection in the mid 19th century. His book on the origin of species. So remember, theory name was natural selection, but the book was the origin of species. Okay, so basically in his book of the origin of species, he formulated a theory which is known as the theory of natural selection. Okay, so let's start the theory. Basically, natural selection is a process where organisms better adapted to their environment have a higher chances of surviving and reproducing, passing on their advantage traits to their offspring. Got it? So basically, let me make a plot for you to understand the theory first. Okay, when he was formulating the theory, or you can say when he had formulated the theory, he gave one quote which is very important, and this quote is known as fittest will survive. And that was a quote about which I was talking in the starting of this lecture. This quote is very important from the perspective of this theory, from the perspective for your life. Okay, so fittest will survive. Basically, Charles Darwin said the fittest species which is able to survive in this environment, will be able to win the match or to win the situations. Okay, so he gave the theory natural selection in which he made a quote, fittest will survive. And the same thing happens to you in your life. Okay, if you are capable to survive your environments, if you are capable to face your difficulties, if you are capable to shining amongst the problems, then you are going to be survive, which is known as a fittest will survive. Okay, so basically he said there were so many species from the starting to the end, but only few were able to reach the survival point. Okay, because they were fit to survive their surroundings. Got it? And this advantageous traits which they had acquired during their process have been passed to their next generations. Got it? So basically, he said several points which are considered under the problem of survival. First thing is the key concept and the variations. Okay. First thing is the key concept and the variations regarding his theory. Okay. The first is the variations. Variations, what do you mean by variations? Remember when we were talking about John Mendel, or you can say George Jehan Mendel. Okay, I hope you are revising it again and again. He formulated the theory of father of genetics. Sorry, he was known as the father of genetics, and he gave the theory of genetics. Okay, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. Okay, dominance, recessiveness. I hope you have revised it. Okay, so he gave this theory. In these things, he made an exception which is known as the variation. Right? So what do you mean by variations? Variation basically means when there are two parents, one is A, one is B, and they are producing their new one, which is C. Because of their different DNAs, there will be variation in the C. That was the main plot, okay, basic plot. So because population of organisms, the genetic variation is required because of genes and traits. And why it is required? To have a better survival conditions. Got it? Variations have been introduced in the human beings, or you can say in the species particularly, because of the survival conditions. Just take an example. Just suppose this one and this one, they both were the parents, but they had the harsh surroundings. Okay, they had to get their food from hunting and all the things, so they had acquired this kind of things. Okay, so their body structure was able to adopt these things. Okay, their DNA copied that information from them to the new one. Okay, so here what we have learned that once the trait was acquired by the parents, have been passed to the new one, which is called as the variations. Okay, because in C literally there is a variations coming from A and B, whereas A having its own, B having its own, only single. But for C it is having of the both A and B. Got it? So it is a case of variations. Okay, now let's move forward. Second thing was overproduction. Okay, there was a saying in the old villages time of India: if you have more members in your family, if you have more members in your family, you will have more power. Okay, so basically this was the saying, okay, which was very in the previous times, okay, as well as in today in the remote areas. It basically say if you have more members in your family, you will have more power. Okay, so basically this things is also applicable in the species part. The more number of species you have, or you can say the more members of species you have, the more powerful you are. Got it? So this was the basic phenomena. Okay, like if we talk about the humans, today humans are nearly about 700 billions to 800 billions. Okay, I'm not know the exact number, but I'm giving you the rough figure. Okay, 700 to 800 billions people today we are living. Okay, so this belong to human beings. Okay, or you can say Homo sapiens. Okay, so basically today we are of this number, so we rule the earth literally. Got it? So that was the overproduction concept. Okay, so species tended to produce more and more of their springs so that they will have more members, and when they will have more members, it simply means that they will have better chances to survive. Okay, they will overpower them. Just take an example to understand this concept betterly. Okay, let's suppose there is one person, there is another person. Okay, and what is required for the production? One should be male and one should be female. Got it? They both met together and they decided that there are the limited resources, so we have to mate, or we have to reproduce. Okay, then they reproduce 1, okay, 2, okay, 3, okay, 4. Then again they produce with someone 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's how the family tree was going on. Got it? So that's how the things were going on. And just take an example, they had produced 50 people. Okay, now the group which was started with 2 people now stand for the 50 people. Okay, now the 50 peoples will work like a family and army. Okay, they will work like a family and the army, and what they will do, they will attack other groups other species in order to acquire the resources which are limited in number. So basically they will try to dominate the situation. Okay, so overproduction was the preference by the species in order to survive. Okay, but remember one thing here which I would like to tell you is that having a large number of family members doesn't mean that you will have a power. In today's time, when we are in the situation of civilizations, we required a small family for better future. Got it? Because overproduction generates overpopulation. Overpopulation generates huge pressure on the resources as well as our planet, which is known as the Earth. Okay, so that's why remember, having a large number of family members doesn't mean that you will have a power, but if you are able to manage your resources like financial, economical and other social resources which you have, then you will have power in the modern time. Okay, but in the previous time, in the evolution time, basically the species were trying to reproduce more and more, so they will have a more family members, and when they will have a more family members, they will be able to attack on the other groups and to acquire the resources of the other groups. Got it? Now let's move forward. Struggle for existence. The competition for resources, food, mates, shelters lead to the struggle for existence. Got it? Basically, resources were limited in number. Okay. Even the food was acquired from hunting or agriculture in the modern times. Okay. Then struggle for partner and mates, and then for shelter or home, you can say. Basically, the resources were very limited in the number. Just suppose, let's take an example. If there are 100 people, okay, then there will be only 10 resources. Okay, so what you can do? You can distribute these resources to them. 100 people may have 10 resources if they will try to use it effectively. But what generally happens? Everyone aspire for more and more. Okay, so similar thing will happen there. So these 100 people will try to occupy the resources for 10 only. Okay, so what they will do? They will have a struggle amongst them in order to acquire the resources and in order to assert the control over the resources, which was formerly the base for the struggle for existence. Got it? Second one is a food problem. Basically, in the very previous time when we were just started having an existence in the planet Earth, okay, so what we were doing the huntings, and when we were doing the huntings, there was a struggle because this was the one who was hunting this one to eat. Okay, so this one would try to resist this one. Okay, so there was a struggle amongst the species in order to survive. The third point was the partner and was the mate. Okay, because we knew that they were trying to overproduce themselves. Even today people are trying to overproduce themselves, but because we are talking about the previous part, so we will say in the previous part they were trying to produce more and more. Okay, but this could be happened by the sexual means of reproduction, and for the sexual means of reproduction you required a partner or mate to having reproduction with them. Got it? So the partner and mates, there was a struggle to have them because many one were trying to capture the partner to having a reproduction. Got it? And thereafter the shelter and the homes, which leads to the struggle for existence. Got it? Now let's move forward. Differential survival and reproduction. Okay, so basically organisms with favorable traits that enhance their survival and reproduction are more likely to pass those traits to the next generation. Basically, this is a conclusion of all the discussion which we have in this lecture. The species who were able to have a control over resources, who were able to have a sufficient food supply, the one who will have a control over mates, the one who will have a adequate shelter. Okay, so these were the species which having a control over the resources. They had the sufficient food supply, they had a control over mates, they had a adequate shelter. So they got a better chances to survive in order to those who didn't have these controls. Got it? But here is one thing. These, just take an example, these 4 people, okay, these 4 people started their struggle to have a control over these 4 things. These 4 things. Got it? Just take an example. These 4 things. Okay. So when they started to acquire a control over there, after them, this struggle eliminated the 3 people and only the one was able to pass it. Why? Because he was the fittest one to survive. He was the fittest one to survive, so only the one was able to pass on. Okay, so basically when they 4 were started this survival, got it? So they had the common traits, but only the one was able to crack it, so he acquired some traits which were different in comparison with those who got eliminated. Okay, and these traits which had been acquired by the 4th one made him fittest one to survive the situation. Got it? And when he got these things, so his memory, or you can say his biological memory, basically the DNA, acquired these traits, and when he was having a crossover, or you can say having an intercourse with someone, then they both will transfer this trait to their offspring. Okay, that's how humans have been evolved from Australopithecus africanus to Homo sapiens Cro-Magnon. Okay, because Australopithecus africanus to Pithecanthropus Homo erectus to Homo sapiens Neanderthals to Homo sapiens Cro-Magnon, we had acquired traits which helped us to survive, and these traits were not acquired by those who got eliminated in this race of survival. Got it? So this is about the evolution and diversity of life. And the 5th one, which is very important, is known as adaptation. Okay, basically it's a simple phenomenon that advantageous traits become more common in a population, leading to adaptations that increase fitness, survival, and reproductive success. Got it? Now, diversity of life is the next topic. Okay, so basically diversity of life refers to the vast array of species and result adaptations to various environments. This diversity is the result of millions of years and evolutionary process. Basically, what did it say? It said that diversity basically introduced to the species as per their struggle, okay, their environment, and their need. Got it? So basically, these factors contributed to having the variations among the species as per their struggle. Like, just take an example. There is a human and there is a snake. It belongs to the category of reptiles. This is the Homo or Homo sapiens. Got it? So basically, can you say that the human and the snake having the same type of struggle? No. The snake will have a different struggle. The human will have a different struggle. Okay. So the variations acquired by both of them will be different. Got it? As per their struggle. Second one, their environment. Basically, the humans are warm-blooded. The snakes are the cold-blooded. Okay. So the humans will prefer a normal environment, whereas the snake will always prefer a warm environment because they are the cold-blooded. Okay. So the environment and other environmental factors like their competitors, like the predators, like their companions. All these things contributed to their variation evolution. Got it? And their need. Basically, if you see humans, okay, so humans are very much weak in comparison with the animals in terms of physical power. Okay, like your domestic animals, cow, ox, buffalo. Okay, if you just compare the humans with them in terms of physical power, they are more powerful with us. Okay, and if you compare with lion, elephant, and all the things, then we are heavily outnumbered in terms of physical power. Got it? But basically, even we survived. Why? Because of their need, and our need was mental power, because we knew that we were not so able to fight or to compete with this animal in the race of survival in terms of physical power. So what we acquired? We acquired mental power, and today literally we rule the world because of our mental strength. Got it? Now, speciation. What is you mean by speciation? Speciation is a process by which new species form. It occurs when populations of same species become reproductive, isolated due to geographical, behavioral, genetical factors. Got it? Basically, speciation, you can say it's a specialization. It is the specialization. Okay. It generally occurs due to geographical condition, behavioral, genetic factors. Just take an example. If you look at the people of Serbia, then equator, then tropics, then temperate. Okay, so what you will notice? You will notice that biologically and structurally they are same, but they are different from each other in terms of texture, in terms of their capacity to resist with the temperature. Okay, in terms of other things. If you look at the people of Serbia, they are able to survive in the extremely cold temperature. If you look at the people of equator, they will be able to survive in the extremely hot temperature. Same with the tropics, and moderate temperature with the temperate zone. Got it? So this is the variations which have been acquired by the species when they got isolated. Then their biological factors acquired the characteristics over the time, and these characteristics has been passed over from parent to their offspring. Got it? So students, today we have finished the evolution and diversity of life. In our next lecture, we will start with the ecology. Till then, thank you, and revise all the topics which we have discussed. All right. Thank you.